Race fans and NASCAR fans, welcome back into another episode of Winning Bets. It's our weekly NASCAR show. I'm your host, Jason Mattis. Each and every single week, I'm joined by my good friend, William Blackwell. How's it going there, man?
It's going good, man. I'm looking forward to this weekend at Daytona. And for me to say I'm hyped, that would be an understatement. There's a lot of things that can go on, and the playoff field will be set at the conclusion of Saturday night's race at Daytona. So much going to happen this weekend, and I am looking forward to it.
Well, you touched on it right there. It's obviously the playoff implications. You got one spot, up for grabs. Will it be Tyler Reddick getting it via the points? Will it maybe be his teammate? Or maybe will it be somebody coming out of nowhere, and obviously winning this race. So before we jump on into that, let's remind everybody what we do here. We give you our picks for a chance to win $25,000 over on the Jackpot Races app, and then I'll hang back and give you a chance to win $10,000 on the NBC Sports Predictor app, another $1,000 over on the Fox Bet Super 6 app. Before we talk about this upcoming Daytona race, we always have to look back and remember last week's race. It was at the Firekeepers 400 down there in Michigan, Brooklyn, Michigan to be exact. Ryan Blaney comes through the win. I got a fair amount I want to talk about on this race, but let's hear your opening thoughts so far on last week's win with Ryan Blaney taking home that checkered flag.
Ryan Blaney might have got the checkered flag this past weekend at Michigan, but I think the true winner of this past weekend at Michigan was the resin compound that they laid down, because that produced not just good racing in the Cup race, but also in the Xfinity race. We saw tons of side-by-side action, and that resin compound came in clutch. And Blaney, he finally won multiple races in one season. He's never done that in the past. And when he wins a race, it's typically at a plate track or a road course, and it's as up in the air, but he's never won at a mile and a half nor like a 2 mile track. But this year, both of his wins have came from Atlanta, a mile and a half, and Michigan, a 2 mile track. So Ryan Blaney is starting to heat up in 2021 as they enter the playoffs. And not to add, ouch, Blaney has the highest average results in the last 8 races out of all Cup drivers. I saw that before tonight's video, but man, that is cool. And Blaney is on a hot streak right now.
Yeah, what was the deal with the ending of the race with the Hendrick brothers, not or teammates, obviously not partnering up? I thought as much as they could. I understand they're both going for the win, and yeah, I guess I was a little confused on it because they're both secure in the playoffs. Obviously, Larson's going, for the regular season championship, so maybe Byron would help him out more. I get it. Byron's also trying to get points, but I was a little confused by that strategy by the Hendrick team of not really teaming up and kind of letting when Blaney got that lead on that restart, which I think was about 7 or 8 laps ago. He got the lead on the restart and really just held him off right there. But that was fantastic, though. I mean, we had gone to too many road courses. Then we had the Olympics break. It was good to get back to an oval and having guys drive several laps, set somebody up, find whether it's the high line, the bottom line, and just good old oval racing. I really enjoyed that. That was fantastic. And to your point, obviously the resin compound played a major factor, and that's not going anywhere anytime soon. They're going to certainly use it here at Michigan. I think certainly going forward. I mean, it aided into the racing, what you talked about with that side by sideness. How about let's just talk about it, Dylan Kozlowski? What happened? We've all seen all the replays. I've watched Radioactive yesterday when it came out. I mean, it's Dylan's fault, right? You're with me. I mean, it's Dylan's fault, right?
I think it's a racing incident. Yes, the checkered flag flew for the end of stage two, and both drivers were at fault. Austin Dillon should have came up, and Brad Keselowski should have went up because it was over with. They weren't racing no more.
Well,
So I just think it's a
Why does Keselowski have to go up? Why can't he just stay his line? Dylan stays his line, and they naturally slow down because the caution flag then waves a couple of like I don't why does Keselowski have to go up the track there?
I think that's some common instinct that drivers have in the Cup Series, because I've been watching NASCAR for quite a while now, and I've seen in cautions cars go towards the high side of the track and leave the lower line for, I don't know, safety vehicles and stuff like that. And when the stage ends, they turn off their cars, they turn off the motors, and they just coast around.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have thought Keselowski would have moved up and just coasted around because it was over with. They were about 300 yards off the start and finish line, and that wreck happened, and Austin Dillon nearly flipped. And
Oh, yeah.
Austin Dillon, that was a bad hit too, but luckily he got out and landed on all four wheels. NASCAR and its safety renovations throughout these past couple of years has been getting better year, and it's awesome to see him get out without an injury. But like both drivers are at fault. It's a racing incident to be short here.
Yeah, it's yeah. Thankfully, his car definitely didn't flip over. It certainly looked like it got up on two wheels there, and it looked like it was going to go over. Obviously, in radioactive, Dylan, at least immediately, he was like, "My bad" to his crew chief right there. Also, I guess I would blame a little bit more on Austin Dillon. A, he's the one that ultimately moved into Kozlowski, and B, what's his spotter doing? I mean, they always say, door, bumper, clear. So what's his spotter not saying bumper, door, bumper, clear like they always say? So I guess I put more of that blame on Austin Dillon, but just gutted it happened to him. Obviously, he was running top 5, even top 3, leading up to that point through stage 1 and stage 2. Certainly looked like he was going to be in contention to take home that checker flag himself. So a little bit gutted for him right there. Outside of that,
yeah,
huh?
You said it perfectly. It was gutted for him because he had a chance of winning the race, and if you were to go to victory lane, that would put all of the hopes and they will all rely on Tyler Reddick this week at Daytona so they can get both RCR cars into the playoffs. But now that's bashed, and now they're going against one another. So you're stirring up controversy with one team, but if he were to go on and win that Michigan race, Tyler Reddick is their main focus for Daytona, but it's all out the books now. They're just going against each other and hoping there's no new winner.
Yeah, that's definitely the key right there. No new winner. Everybody's praying for no new winner. Overall, at Michigan, obviously Hendrick had a good day. There were spells where Elliott was even good. He even won stage 1. Larson and Byron were there at the end. I thought Hamlin was really good. I thought his strategy it was after one of the restarts. He didn't take any tires, and everybody grabbed new tires, and he didn't. He was able to maintain his track position for a very, very long time on no new tires when everybody else had grabbed fresh tires. So liked his strategy, liked his team as well. What was the deal with the caution for rain? I mean, NASCAR has pushed the envelope. Did they just want to tighten it back up and just get a restart and create drama? I mean, what was there, 3 raindrops? Seriously, 3? And the rain lasted for 10 seconds. Come on. What is NASCAR doing there? After they're going to push the envelope all season long?
Well, I think they learned their lesson at New Hampshire. After that big wreck happened on lap 5 or 6 with Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, Bowman, and so many other drivers involved, NASCAR wasn't going to have that happen again. And when they felt raindrops, significant raindrops, they said, no, we got to throw this out. And they threw out the caution. And then it stopped, obviously, and then they restarted. But I had no problem with them throwing out the caution. Yes, It did make the racing a lot tighter because it had a restart. But you have to throw it out after what they've been going through this 2021 season.
Yeah, and obviously you mentioned New Hampshire, and they weren't going to go through that. The reason I just scratched my head by it, and we talked about it last week when we were recapping Indy, is Martin Truex Jr. goes through that and shreds his car all to pieces and debris goes flying. They don't want to throw a caution there. They want to bring the cars all the way back around and then have the mayhem ensue where Logano and other cars obviously wreck and knock out their day. So I just don't like the inconsistency. I really don't like that. So otherwise, yeah, good job by Blaney. Good job on that restart. Obviously, I'm bitter. Logano got taken out. I had him win that race, and I don't understand what he's doing following Reddick there. It looked like all day, at least on restarts, the high line was winning. Like, you didn't want to go down the bottom on restarts. You wanted to go the high line. I don't understand why he then got behind Reddick, and then obviously when Reddick went up the track, he kind of went up the track with them, and then everybody's drafted in the wind, everything. It's just side by side, and mayhem ensues there. But I don't understand why he even followed him in the first place. The high line was winning on restarts every time. I don't get it. Like I said, I'm a little salty because I picked them to win. All right, well, let's jump it over now. Anything? You want to go to Daytona?
Let's go to Daytona. It is going to be awesome. A lot of crazy things will go on, and the playoff field will be set, and possibly an upset winner. But I'm ready to talk about it.
It's going to be so crazy because what's going to happen is all the guys, there's like 15 or 16 guys that obviously don't have a win, and if they win, they're in. They're going to be pushing so damn hard. The wrecks are just going to be crazy because they're just going to be pushing. You know what I mean? It's win or go home essentially for a 16 or so driver. It's going to be crazy. At the Coke 0400 down there at the Daytona International Speedway. It's a night race too, Saturday night race. That just adds a little bit more intrigue. Cutoff race, huge playoff implications. Obviously, I was torn throughout the season how I felt about this, but I think now that we're here, I kind of like that. It's a little bit of unknown. You've got that uncertainty of a super speedway. Truly anything can happen. We see it each and every time they go to Daytona or they go to Talladega. So while I was earlier on the season a little bit put off by this being the cutoff race, Now I kind of like it. I mean, it has intrigued. Like I'm always going to be watching the race, but I'm going to be glued to see if there's going to be a shock winner. What about you?
I'm going to be glued to the TV too because a shock winner, a big wreck can happen and take out Tyler Reddick and Austin Dillon, and
Yeah.
then make them real curious to see who's going to make the playoffs out of them too. If there's no new winner, there's so many things that's going to happen at Daytona that you won't see on a typical race weekend. You hit it earlier, big wrecks, they will happen. Once one car gets turned sideways, the whole field will go into them. We saw that at the Daytona 500 earlier this year, where I think it was Eric Almirola got turned by the 48 car and caused a big one early on, and that will happen in just a matter of when. But before we get into our picks, I want to add one little thing. Tyler Reddick right now is above the cut line, above his teammate Austin Dillon. I think it's by 28 points or so. I've been pondering this all day long, actually. And what would be a good strategy for him? Could he go up front and collect stage points for the first two stages, and then at the end just coast because you'd probably have 40 points or so if he gets a win for both stages? Or does he stay in the back and think his 28 points are good and try to avoid crashes? I don't know. That's just too much for me to think about, but I'm sure RCR is going to try everything they can to get one of their drivers into the playoffs instead of having an upset winner.
No, I mean, you brought it up, so I'll give you my opinion on that. I think my team strategy would be hang towards the back. You know, you could see the way these cars will just move through the field. If they can pair up with somebody, any car teammate doesn't have to necessarily be Austin Dillon, but they can just pair up with somebody. You can move through the field pretty quickly. So I say through the first two stages, why put yourself in harm's way? Just hang toward the back. Be in that 20 to 30 range. Let all the carnage happen as guys are pushing for points and what have you. My strategy would be very, very easily hang to the back, and then as you progress through stage 3, start pushing your way up through, and you just hope for God bid you're not caught up in the big one, or one of the big ones, I should say. But that would be my strategy. Hang towards the back. Play it safe.
Yeah, that's a valid point, but RCR in the past has been known for going for it and going up front. And then plus, also to add to that, most of the wrecks nowadays actually happen at the end of the stages. But if you're up front leading, you don't have to worry about that getting turned because they always happen in the middle of the field because the car will get turned sideways, like we saw at Talladega, I think it was, where the 22 car got turned and caused that big wreck. It was in the middle of the pack. It was not the leader. So if Reddick's leading the race, that's nothing to worry about. But I would go for them stage points. So at the end, you got about a 30 to 40 point cushion to the good, and just hope and pray to God there's no new winner. But that'd be the way I go. But you'll agree to disagree.
Yeah, no, and to our points, I mean, I would just be scared and nobody win. I mean, look at the two super speedways this season so far, McDowell and Kozlowski. You know how many laps they led combined? 2. They led combined 2 laps. So I would hate to be a Reddick and just have some guy just come out of nowhere and snatch it. So maybe they do stick to your strategy to get points early. I don't know, it's gonna be fascinating, folks. It all takes place Saturday night at the Daytona International Speedway. You ready to jump into our picks?
I am ready.
All right, let's give the people our chance to win $25,000 over on the Jackpot Races. This is where they give you 5 groups of drivers, 5 groups of drivers, 6 drivers in each group. You got to pick the driver to finish best amongst the group, and then you got to give them a top 3. I'm going to, if you guys watch my daily show, you guys know there's 2 speedways I don't put my real money on. This one, we've kind of talked about how it's unpredictability, so we'll kind of go through our picks, maybe have a little bit of fun with this, but let's jump on into it. William, you can go ahead and go first. You got to pick between, in Group 1, you got to pick between Larson, Hamlin, Byron, Elliott, Logano, and Kyle Busch. Who's it going to be for you?
All right, here. Going to Daytona, we have said it multiple times, and anybody can win. It's an equal playing field. So when you're coming to bet something about a plate race, it's going to be a lot difficult. And so what I'm going to do is get a hat, and I got drivers inside, and we're going to mix it up. And let's see here. For Group 1,
Let's do it.
Group number 1, it will be the 24 car of William Byron for Group 1.
All right, you're going with William Byron. I had it between Logano and Hamlin. In the end, I went ahead and picked the 11 car of Denny Hamlin. Look, since 2018, that's been 14 races here at the Super Speedways, 3 wins, 9 top fives, led 341 laps, which is most amongst everybody. He's got the best average finish by 5 spots among drivers in this group. He finished 5th at the Daytona 500. This is a guy that I think between him and Logano, they'll generally be up towards the front. So I think they're relatively safe picks. Larson's not really good at these super speedways. Kyle Busch is really not good at these super speedways. So I like this Denny Hamlin pick when I narrowed it down between him and Hamlin, or him and Logano. So let's go number 11. All right, let's move over now to Group 2, where we got to pick between Blaney, Harvick, Truex, Keselowski, Bowman, and Kurt Busch. I'll go ahead and go first. I'm going to go ahead and go with Ryan Blaney. For one, I absolutely love momentum. Nobody's got more momentum than the previous race winner, so like that. But in this group, he's got the best average finish and the best driver rating of guys in this group. And at Super Speedway since 2018, 2 wins, 3 top 5s, 6 top 10s, and those last 14 races. So Blaney for me, who's it going to be for you?
He was also about a couple feet away from winning the Daytona 500 in 2020. A lot of people forget about that.
Mm-hmm.
But for Group 2, we're going to be
back to the hat.
Yeah, going to be a smart ass here, and let's see who we got. For Group number 2, we will have the 1 car of Kurt Busch. And Kurt Busch here, this is an interesting pick. Kurt Busch in the past at Daytona has always been involved in some type of wreck, whether it's the Daytona 500 or it's the Coke 0400 in the summer. But he still has managed to win here in the past, winning the 2017 Daytona 500. So he has what it takes to win here, and I would expect for him to be playing it safe and just going and riding around and at the end going for the win. So I think Kurt Busch here is going to be a pretty good one to go with, and I was going to pick him without the hat anyway, so Kurt Busch is the man.
Well, there you go right there. All right, let's see who you got in that next hat. For Group 3, you got to pick between Dillon, Reddick, Bell, Dibenditto, Chastain, and McDowell. I assume you're going to a hat. That's why I say that, right? You're going to a hat? Let's see who it is.
We're going to that. It's going to be an interesting group. Quite anybody in this group right here, Group number 3, I think it is, has a really good chance of winning. They have been successful in the past on plate races, so it's going to be interesting. I'm going to pick.
While you pull that name out, I actually liked what you said about Kurt Busch in terms of maybe hanging back and then going for the stage win. I wouldn't be surprised if everybody who's already taken a checkered flag this season just hangs back, and just kind of, maybe other than Larson and Hamlin are actually going for a regular season championship. Otherwise, yeah, your Michael McDowell's, all those guys. There he is right there. Speaking of the devil. I think they just hang back and then just go for it at the end. So you're taking Michael McDowell, not a bad pick. Daytona 500.
Yeah, Michael McDowell won the Daytona 500, and he also finished runner-up, I think it was, at Talladega in the fall. Or not the fall. Ouch, I'm getting confused here. But in the spring, he finished runner-up at Talladega. So give me Michael McDowell. He is great this year at plate racing.
All right, I'm going to go with a man that we've talked about several times already, Austin Dillon for me here in Group 3. Look, in this group, he's got the best average finish and best driver rating there at Super Speedways. 1 win, 2 top 5s, 5 top 10s in his last 14 races. Finished 3rd at the Daytona 500. He won duel number 1 that weekend when they do the 2 duels. He won number 2, and he was 8th at Talladega. So a really good Super Speedway. And he's going to be there at the end. I mean, that could bite me because maybe he's going to be involved in a wreck. But at least I'm going to be betting on a guy that's at least going to be pushing like hell, trying to get that checkered flag. So I don't mind putting my support by him. And if he gets caught up in a wreck, well, so will a lot of other guys. But at least I know he's going to be pushing and trying to grab that checkered flag. So go ahead and give me Austin Dillon. All right, for Group 4, we got to pick between Stenhouse, Almirola, Buescher, Wallace, Newman, and Jones. I'm up first. I'm going to go ahead and take Bubba Wallace. He's got 2 top 20 finishes this year at Talladega and at Daytona. And at duel number 2, he finished 2nd in that. So really good showing. He's got the Super Speedway. And kind of like what I said about Austin Dillon. Is another guy's going to be going for it. He's going to be absolutely going for it. Got nothing to hold back. Again, maybe he gets caught up in a wreck. But I'm going to go ahead and back a guy that's got at least got to go for it. A win to get in. I'll go ahead and say Bubba Wallace. What about for you?
All right, we're going to go back to the hat. And we're going to mix it up here. And the guy we're going to go with here will be the Rocket Man, Ryan Newman.
That's a bad pick. He's so scared since his big wreck a couple of years ago. I think he's retiring. No, you may want to pull something else out of it. He ain't going for it.
You hit on that. He is possibly going to retire at the conclusion of the 2021 season. But that's if he does not get a ride or an offer for the 2022 season. So right now, he is driving trying to impress an owner in NASCAR, regardless of whether or not it's the Cup Series, the Xfinity Series, or the Truck Series. So he's trying to catch some attention of an owner. And if he were to win at Daytona, he'll, one, get himself locked into the playoffs. And he's also won at Daytona in the past many years ago when I was a little baby. Honestly, it was a long time ago. Newman has been irrelevant. And, like if he wins, one, he'll make the playoffs, but two, he will catch a lot of attention by other team owners in NASCAR. So Newman is not that bad of a pick after all. He nearly won the Daytona 500 in 2020, but he flipped and it was nearly fatal.
Dude, I can't get those images out of my head. I think at the end of the day, he can't get those images out of my head. I wouldn't pick him. That being said, I don't hate your pick. Everybody this weekend has a chance, but I just think with what he went through a few years back, I don't see him doing it.
Yeah, and also, that'd be a nice story to see. I know it's racing and stuff like that, but man, Newman going to the track, possibly for the final time he'll race there, and winning at a track where he nearly died at the year before. That would be a I don't know, emotional win for Ryan Newman if that were to happen Saturday night at Daytona. But man, what the storylines would be if that were to happen.
No, that'd be absolutely crazy. All right, so we got one more head, I assume, over there. You got to do it. Group 5, Briscoe, Custer, Suarez, LaJoie, Priest, and Haley. And actually, I need to check and make sure not every one of those is number 14. You gotta pull them all out. I'm just kidding. Go ahead and pull one of them out.
All right, here.
But if you do pull out number 14, I am going to be awfully suspicious if you pull out number 14.
But the driver that is not going to wreck out of this group will be the 14 car of not Chase Briscoe. It'll be the 99 car of Daniel Suarez. Daniel Suarez here at Daytona has been usually hit or miss, usually miss. He's always involved in some big accident. So it kind of worries me to pick Daniel Suarez here, but it's a random draw and anybody can win here at Daytona. It's an equal playing field. So after all, I'm not feeling so bad. But man, that group right there is crazy every single week because they always find themselves either involved in a miscue on pit road or also in a big wreck. It always seems that way.
No, you're exactly right. I'm going to go and take your guy, number 14. I'm taking Chase Briscoe. One of the things I like about him when comparing him to other drivers in this group is he's actually like on a team with several other teammates. And we know at the super speedways, you got to hook up with somebody and get some push. And that's how you kind of get up to the front. So like that, he's got some guys on his team that can actually help him do that. He did finish 20th. Or top 20 in both super speedways already this season with 11th place at Talladega, so he's had some good finishes this season. And to me, it's just another guy, like other guys in this group, they're all going to be pushing for it, going for the win and try to make the playoffs. But Briscoe will have teammates, so that's why I went ahead and settled on Briscoe right there. All right, we got to give these people a top 3.
And he's also came on strong lately. I want to add that out there.
Good stuff. He certainly has. All right, top 3. Why don't you go first? Who's checkered flag, P2, P3? Who you got? Are you going to the hat on this one too?
All right, we're going for the hat, but let's see here. Wrecking out will be the 34 car, and also with him will be the 6 car. So your third place finisher will be the 99 car of Daniel Suarez finishing P3. P2 will be the 1 car of Kurt Busch, and your winner for the second year in a row at Daytona for the playoff cutoff race will be the 24 car of William Byron. Byron won this race last year, and it was a big win for him because it was his first win in NASCAR, but also he made the playoffs because prior to that race, he was well outside of the points, and a lot of people were doubting him inside the Hendrick facilities and whether or not he was their long-term driver, if you will, and but he proved him wrong, and since then has been really good at plate racing. So Byron, after all, is a phenomenal pick.
Yep, certainly is. All right, for my top 3 this weekend, I'm going to go ahead and go with Bubba Wallace taking that checkered flag. I really like that all the Joe Gibbs racers are already in the playoffs, and I think all of the Joe Gibbs guys are going to be essentially helping the remaining Joe Gibbs guys get in that playoff. So I like that he's going to have some bona fide teammates helping him out. So go ahead and give me Bubba Wallace. Right behind him in P2 will be Austin Dillon. And rounding out the top 3 will go ahead and be Denny Hamlin. Will be right behind Bubba Wallace right there. All right, that's how I'm doing it.
I got to ask. Do you think Tyler Reddick gets involved in a wreck? Oh, never mind. Bubba Wallace goes on to win. Never mind.
Bubba Wallace goes on to win. But I do have one more question on my notes. I was going to ask you. I didn't know how I was going to ask this, but now I can really ask it based on how you made your picks of just drawing names out of the hat, which I thought was pretty cool. Who do you actually have making that final playoff spot? Do you have Reddick on points, or do you see a newbie driver snatching it away from? Who do you got?
I think with everything that's going to be going on, the wrecking wise, you will see one of them two drivers getting taken out, and there's a good chance they might be both taken out at the same wreck. So I think Tyler Reddick, just because the cushion he has, I think it's 28 points to the good. I think he does get that final spot, and he will make the playoffs. And Austin Dillon will go home and not make the playoffs for the first time since 2017, if I'm not mistaken, or 16. And it's been a long time. So, man.
All right, so you got Tyler Reddick in. I don't know. I mean, I think Bubba Wallace can obviously win. I've justified it there with why he can win the group and then take checkered flag. Whether it's him or another newbie, I see it being a newbie. I don't think Tyler Reddick will get in. I think somebody new will take the checkered flag and they'll take that 16th and all important final spot, get in the playoffs. That's how I see it going on. But that's why NASCAR wanted this to be a cutoff, because you cannot predict it, right? We sit here each and every week and you can have bona fide stats and you can kind of have momentum to go off. All that goes thrown out the window when you get to a super speedway. And that's what NASCAR wanted. They want you watching this thing. So they definitely succeeded. They're going to end up being the winner at the end of this races, because everybody's just going to be intrigued to see what happens and who gets in the playoffs. You know?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's go ahead and let William drop. Don't forget, I'm going to stay by and give you guys $10,000 on the NBC Sports Predictor app, another $1,000 over on the Fox Bet Super 6 app. Don't forget, you can find William Blackwell on Twitter. It's WBlackwell72. WBlackwell72, and all his YouTube information is in this video description. What's either your last video you just put out or the next one you've got coming out? Go ahead and tease the people with something. What do you got coming out?
All right, my most recent video is a Pick 5 contest, and one of my upcoming, I guess you can say, projects is the top 10 drivers of all time out of all racing series. You got Formula One, IndyCar, NASCAR, and NHRA, but spoiler, NHRA will not make the honor roll and top 10. So just adding that out there. But yes, that is my future project, and the plan is to have that up here soon in the next couple of days. And also, I will be doing my full playoff prediction on what will happen, which drivers will go on to each round, and which driver will eventually win the 2021 NASCAR Cup Championship. And it'll be interesting.
All right, well, I'll have to get my brother on alert that video is coming. He's a big F1 guy, so I know he's going to be pissed at you if you don't have Lewis Hamilton somewhere up there high. You better be up there really, really high, or my brother's going to be coming after you, man. All right, we look forward to that video, man. All right, enjoy Saturday night's race down there at Daytona. We look forward to seeing you next week. Have a good one, man.
All right, man, you too.
All right, there you guys have it. Those are our picks for a chance to win $25,000 over on the Jackpot Races app. Now let's move it over to the NBC Sports Predictor app, where you can win $10,000. This is the one where they give you 3 stages. You got to pick the driver to finish best amongst the stage, and then you got to give them a top 3. Oh, but wait, don't you guys forget, I created a league where we're all competing against our fellow winning bet supporters, and I'm giving away $25 each and every single week. So let's see who won last week. Looks like it was Daniel's Lisa. Went ahead and get the win with 65 points. An impressive, very impressive showing, as they got Blaney as the winner. They correctly predicted that. And of the stages, they got 2 of the 3 stages right. So very, very nice there by Daniels Lisa. 65 points, and like I said, getting Blaney right there. So good job by you. All you got to do is hit me up on Twitter, drop me your PayPal information, and I'll go ahead and send you $25. And if you're watching this video, and if you're new, welcome. Glad to have you along. If you want to join the league and compete against your fellow winning bet supporters and a chance to win my $25, grab that league information from this video description. Is where you can find it easily enough. Whether you need the code or the link, either way, it's easy. Go ahead and join the link, and good luck to you each and every single week. All right, let's go ahead and jump on into it now. My picks are going to be very different than what they were in the Jackpot Races app, because we've talked about it there with William. This race is just really unpredictable. Anybody can win. Anything can really happen. So I think on this time, if you don't make your picks different between these 2 apps, I think you're kind of being crazy, quite frankly. I mean, there's no way you really have a good feeling of what's going to happen to where you put the same entry on both apps. No way. So, all right, with that being said, for stage 1, For stage one, I'm going to go ahead and give it to Kevin Harvick. Look, he finished fourth at both Daytona and Talladega. He was third in the second duel. So, yeah, 3 really good, impressive showings this year so far at the super speedway. So I'll go ahead and give it to Kevin Harvick. For stage 2, I'll go ahead and give it to Danny Hamlin. And for stage 3, I'll go ahead and give it to Austin Dillon. For my top 3 on this app, I will go ahead and give it to Austin Dillon, taking the checkered flag. Matt DiBenedetto will be behind him in P2. And Ryan Preece will round out the top 3 right there. All right, let's move it over now to the Fox Bet Super 6 app, where you can win $1,000. This is the one where they give you 6 questions, answer them all right, split the $1,000 prize. For question 1, which driver will finish the worst position after stage 1? I'll go ahead and give it to Daniel Suarez. How many Chevys will be in the top 10 after stage 1? I'll go ahead and say 4. Who will be in the best position after stage 2? I'll go ahead and say Joey Logano. Which Team Penske will be in top 10 after stage 2? Team Penske, top 10 after stage 2. I'll go ahead and say Joey Logano again. Which Toyota driver will have the least amount of points at the end of this race? I'll go ahead and say Truex Jr. And who will be in the best position at the end of this race? I'll go ahead and say Kevin Harvick. All right, guys, this is going to be a really, really fascinating race here at the cutoff spot before the playoffs start. Don't miss it. This is just, the drama is obviously really, really high. Go ahead, drop a comment on this video. Let me know who you think is going to go ahead and win this race. And also let me know who you think is going to take home that 16th and final playoff spot. I'm really curious to see what you guys think out there. Hit your like button on the way out. I'd greatly appreciate it. Otherwise, enjoy that race on Saturday night. Good luck with your picks. And we'll see you back here next week on the Weekly NASCAR Show.
That was a lot of fun. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and good luck with your picks. If interested in placing real sports bets, then check out my latest daily free sports betting video in the bottom right corner. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next contest.